Hiya, so for this week's video I wanted to do something that is dedicated to Australian literature, and I thought there's no better way than to dedicate my entire week to reading only books by Australian authors. I currently have 6 books in my hand, all written by Australian authors. Realistically, I won't be able to get through a whole 6 books in only a week whilst working. It is currently Monday, so I thought I'd quickly film this little introduction. I'm actually cleaning the house today because I worked on Saturday, and Saturday is normally my cleaning house day. So that's why I'm in my cleaning house clothes, so don't mind me. The books that I have on my TBR for this week is Walking Sydney by Belinda Castles. I was actually sent this very kindly from New South Publishers. This is the ARC copy, but it did come out in September. I've had it for a little while on my shelf. The Natural Way of Things by Charlotte Wood. I read Charlotte Wood's other novel that was nominated for the Booker last year, and I really loved it. Looked on my shelf, turns out I had another book of hers, and this won the Stella Prize in 2016, so I already know I enjoy her writing. I would like to definitely read this. In my video that I posted a little while ago, and it was about all of the books I've acquired in the past 6 months. If you've watched that, then you would recognize these 3. These are the 3 Australian classics that I got from the op shop near my old work, and that includes the classic Australian short stories. We have A Fortunate Life by A.B. Facey, House of Trees by Chester Eagle, and lucky last on my TBR, I have Luna Park by Bret Easton Ellis. Okay, never mind. For some reason I thought Bret Easton Ellis was Australian, but I think because there's this place in Melbourne called Luna Park. That's so silly. Anyways, okay, moving on, let's pretend like I am not stupid. I am starting with The Natural Way of Things by Charlotte Wood. Cute. Okay, so I look a mess, but that's fine. I just wanted to give a really quick update on The Natural Way of Things by Charlotte Wood. I'm not into it, I don't like it, and I'm calling it a day. I'm calling it a DNF halfway through. So the blurb of this book did not describe the book accurately at all. I thought it was going to be a kind of a modern take on misogyny in Australia, but it is about these women who get kidnapped and tortured, essentially. They are all these women individually are victims of some sort of misogynist, sexist violence in the workplace, where they're getting pretty much taken advantage of or harassed by political figures that they work for, stuff like that. And then they get kidnapped, put into this property with these like really disgusting men, and yeah, get tortured. I didn't expect that going in. It is not something that I necessarily want to read about. It's really quite like grotesque, and there's a lot of really vivid writing and scenes that I wasn't prepared for it going in. It's not something that I enjoy reading. I don't know, it's just not for me. It's not for me, and I think that's completely valid to not want to consume something like this. It's also really slow, and it feels like it's just really what are you doing? It feels like it's just really icky, and there's no female camaraderie in this situation. Each woman is really, nothing's really fleshed out. It's very underdeveloped. Each woman is kind of keeping to themselves. There's barely any conversation between the women, and we don't really know why they're there fully. You don't really get an explanation. I'm assuming you get it at the end, but I didn't really feel the need to kind of wait around until I reached that point. So I'm calling it a day, absolutely calling it a day, and I'm going to read something else. Unsure what I'm going to read next still. Got to figure it out. So I'm about to eat my breakfast slash lunch. I made myself a little bagel. I made the bagels on my own because I eat like according to my hormones. This is probably not very interesting, but I eat according to my hormones, and I do a lot of seed cycling. So I'm currently in ovulation. So the seeds that I'm focusing on is sunflower seeds and sesame seeds. I'm also really focusing on kind of like anti-inflammatory foods, a lot of healthy fats and protein. So I actually made this like sunflower seed cream cheese, and I made these bagels out of like cottage cheese and lots of sesame seeds. And yeah, it's really, really delicious. My favorite herb is dill, so this is genuinely like one of my favorite go-to foods. I love bagels, and I'm so hungry because I haven't eaten yet, but nevertheless, it is Thursday and it's 1 p.m. I've had a really hectic morning so far, but I think I've chosen the next book that I'm going to read, and I think that's going to be A Fortunate Life by A.B. Facey. This is actually kind of a memoir. It is about this Australian man and how he grows up in rural Australia. It seems like he was forced to become an adult at the age of 8. So I'm excited to read this next. I've also started the Australian short stories. So it is Friday, and I have a little reading update for you, or lack thereof. Yesterday was just a bit of a write-off. I ended up playing Zelda for like 4 hours, so I didn't read anything of this. I didn't even start it. So I'm trying not to beat myself up about it. I have been reading the Australian short stories. I haven't read anything at all. But I want to this afternoon. I want to right now. So I finished A Fortunate Life by A.B. Facey, and my thoughts are, wow, just incredible, to be honest. I cannot believe I was able to read something that was written by a man that lived such a tumultuous and insanely wild life. Like, you wouldn't believe the stuff that happened to him if it was just a random man off the street telling you about his life. It's truly unforgettable and just crazy. It feels like it was thousands of years ago, a different world, but in reality it was only 100 years ago in rural Australia. A lot of these places are places that I know personally. This is the only novel that A.B. Facey has ever written, and it is about his life. He was brought up quite illiterate, so the writing is very just to the point, direct, but it almost works in his favor, and I find it really just raw and real and gritty, and it's about this man's life, and it's an intense life. Surprisingly optimistic at times. I really admire A.B. Facey's spirit, and I highly recommend anyone who wants to read Australian literature to pick this up. It is really, really interesting. I listened to the audiobook and I'm really glad I did. The narrator of the audiobook actually did a really good job at narrating, and I really enjoyed it. I flew through this. I'm so glad that I decided to pick this up next, because after my experience with Charlotte Wood's book, I kind of forgot why I did this video idea and why I wanted to read Australian books, but this is why. Just incredibly Australian from the first page to the last. It shows this like turn of the century in the 19th century. A lot of the stuff that happened to A.B. Facey in this book is quite heart-wrenching. As a child, he goes through a lot of abuse. A lot of the stuff that happens to him as a child, it breaks your heart reading about it. I can't believe that would happen to a young boy. I feel like A.B. Facey is a very gentle, softly spoken narrator. He is to the point, but with grace, and all he came to do was to tell his remarkable story, and he did it well, and I commend him. And I cannot believe I was able to read the life of someone in rural Australia in the 18 to 1900s. That's literally insane to me. It's crazy that literature can do that. Books can literally books can transform you and take you to a different world and a different time. And lucky last, to round out this video, I have finished the classic Australian short stories. This is a collection of iconic Australian authors and poets and their short stories. It is collated by a lady named Maggie Pinkie. Maggie Pinkie. And I read it and I loved it. You can't really go wrong when Banjo Paterson and Henry Law is included. When I first wanted to kind of get back into Australian literature, I purchased the poetry of Banjo Paterson, and it was incredible. I loved it. So as soon as I saw his name on the cover, I knew I was in a safe space. This really captures Australia in the 19th to early 20th century. It captures the sandy, orange, red hues of dust that you just can't seem to get off your clothes. It captures the sticky, hot feeling of a hot Australian day. It gives you the smell of the sheep at the shearer's shed, and it is pinnacly Australian. One of my favourite stories is actually a story that I read pretty early on called Dead Man's Load. If you pick this up, or if you take anything from this video, then you should 100% read Dead Man's Load. I'm sure there'd be like a free version online since it is just a short story, but I really loved this. I found it super enjoyable. There was so many different kinds of stories, so it's hard hard to talk about without talking about each story individually, but they were all very different from one another. There were stories that made me laugh, stories that made me sad, happy. There was stories that captured the outback really well, and there was stories that captured the ever-growing cityscape really well. So I thought this was a really great book to read every morning and night. I kind of read a story slowly, and I really enjoyed reading it that way. I was a little bit disappointed this week at my motivation to read. I've just had a stressful week. I'm trying not to beat myself up over it. I'm glad that I did get some books read in general. It's kind of hard to find that balance at times, but I really think that the key was the audiobook of A Fortunate Life. That really helped me, and audiobooks in general I love. I've had a really good week, and I hope you pick up some Australian literature. Thank you for watching.